Hello, welcome back to the Happy Healthy Human podcast. I'm Coach Kara.
And I'm Coach Lauren. On this podcast, we talk about the 5 factors of health. We've got movement, nutrition. We have connection, mindset, rest, and recovery. What are we talking about today, Kara?
We just talked about the fact that Lauren still does not know the 5 factors of health.
I don't know if it's like intimidating to me or what to memorize it, but it's so hard. Even though it's like we memorize so much for everyday coaching, but this, I refuse to memorize it.
Too much in our heads.
I think I don't want to memorize it.
There's something there. Today, we are talking about how we influence our family to be the healthiest version of themselves.
Exactly. So that can be a touchy subject to influence friends and family, but we wanted to talk about it because we just had a Fit After 50 workshop, and I was thinking about that. That's why I thought about the topic for today, because I was thinking some people brought family members, or we've actually had... You know, we now have Carol and Stacy, a mom and a daughter, who are coming to our group classes. And then we have, Tiff and her aunt that come here, and just different family members where I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is like people influencing each other in health. So I was like, oh, this would be a good topic because it can be touchy maybe to talk about health for friends and family. And so just for sure, different ways that we go about it in a way that we feel like is appropriate, because it can be a sensitive topic to talk about health and nutrition.
Yeah, 100%. I think that what we wanted to start with today was talking about how we have been influenced by our own family growing up, and now how we can kind of like shape our own experience into kind of doing an Uno reverse on them.
It's all about the subconscious, just messing with them. No, joking. Yeah. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I was thinking about this on the drive here, but my family was always very health conscious. Like since I was little, my mom was on a diet, my dad was on a diet. Everybody around me was always doing something, like trying to work out, this food is bad. It was very much like these foods are bad, this is good. And then I, was working out. I was a gymnast and then runner, and then I would do cardio, and I just thought, I just keep running and then I'll lose weight. I remember thinking of like wanting to lose weight since I was little. So I kind of came up with these rituals, I call them, of what health means and exercise, nutrition. I was even thinking about how like baked goods were really bad in my family, because that means you're going to have, or carbs were really bad. Yeah. So it's just like, this is not good that I'm eating this, almost like shameful.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that.
Because you were also like you were born in the 80s, right?
Yes.
So I feel like you were
end of 80, basically 90s baby.
Basically 90s.
Like
we won't age her too much.
Ish is born in 90s. I learned. I thought he was an 89 baby.
90s babies. But you were kind of growing up in like the 90s and early 2000s when like low carb beach body dieting was like such a huge thing, right?
Huge. So it was just like we had like cauliflower mash. For dinner. It was so gross. It was so gross.
That had a comeback recently.
Yeah. It actually, I do like cauliflower rice now, but like mash as a child, so it's messed up. And then we talked about Special K diet, but my older sister actually had a really successful weight loss journey. She lost over 100 pounds in her early 20s.
That's
she
amazing.
Had gained a lot of weight for different reasons, and then she decided she wanted to like make a whole change. So she cut out smoking, she cut out drinking. She got like a health consultant and a doctor helping her, and she did like shakes for a while, and then she learned how to have like healthy meals and then exercise, and she lost 100 pounds and has been able to keep it off. And so her journey, that I got to see of like, wow, this really transformed her life in the positive way.
Yeah.
And it gained her confidence, and no one would even know if they met her today. They'd be like, what? Like you lost 100 pounds? Like, unless she shares her story.
Yeah.
But she worked really hard at it, and she's worked hard throughout the years to be able to stay at the weight that she is now.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool, and it's really encouraging. And so that really people can get help and do if they want to get on that weight loss journey. But what I was going to say is, well, do you want me to share more of how you changed, or do you want to maybe share where you grew up?
Keep on going. I want to hear about this. Well, I also want to hear about how like your sister's weight loss influenced you. If there was like, did it shape your understanding of weight loss versus like beforehand you only knew like dieting and exercise and this is good and this is bad. Did she help to shape how you understood it?
Yes and no. I think for me, what I really enjoyed is how confident she became and how she was able to like, her weight for her personally was holding her back from the life she wanted to live, of being active and feeling healthy and energized. And she smoked a lot. And so that really affected her lungs. Like, it was hard to go up the stairs.
Yeah.
So when she cut these things out, she just was able to like feel like she could fully come alive. Like, I could just see her like just grow in her confidence. And it just felt like a positive mindset about her. And so I saw that. I think I never had like a ton of weight to lose. So I was like, okay, that's cool for her. But then how
I see that.
it like influenced like my friendships and family, I think has really shifted over the years now as I've gotten a healthier mindset about body image and exercise and nutrition, you know, through coaching, through learning about nutrition, of like, oh, you don't always have to be on a diet. Oh, it's not bad to have brownies, you know? So
right. Yeah.
those
yeah.
things. Yeah. So I don't know about you. What's your family history, nutrition, exercise?
Yeah, I think I won't go too deep into it because I feel like I've talked about it actually quite a bit on here. Is like, I grew up in the age where like my parents were always either like on a diet or just like completely not on a diet, not paying attention to, you know, what we were eating at all. But I think when I was in high school was probably when I was like most influenced by the diet that my mom specifically had gone on. She went on to like Beachbody.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. Like, she was basically like macro counting. You're just putting food into containers and you get a certain amount per day and blah, blah, blah. But watching her become a way happier version of herself was really inspiring. And so I think that in a way it was cool to see how that impacted her, but also in another way, it taught me that like restriction is the way to lose weight, right?
Yes.
So it really did influence me into realizing like, oh, you should only eat these foods. You should only eat this much food. And it didn't allow me much space as a teenager to understand, like, you can just live a really balanced lifestyle and still lose weight and feel strong and all these things. It just felt like, oh, you should always try to get smaller.
Yeah.
Like, that should always be the goal. So yeah, it influenced me. I would say like, maybe not in the moment I realized how it was affecting me, but I would say once I got into college, that's where I was more so like, oh my God, there's like a list of things I need to avoid and things that I should do and all that. So it did turn a little bit negative.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like my experience with watching like dieting happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think I'd be interested to see like, how has it changed maybe to a healthier mindset, and how has that influenced your family or your friendships, your health and nutrition, exercise, all that?
Yeah. I think the first time that I really started to understand the importance of eating like a certain amount of calories that actually makes you feel good is whenever I started doing CrossFit. And working with Coach Drew too, right? He was the one that started to teach me like, hey, you need to eat what you're outputting, because I was starting to increase my volume and intensity, and I was understanding like, okay, I'm putting out so much. I need to make sure that I am consuming good carbohydrates and feeling, you know, energized throughout the day. So that was something that I would try to just bring to my family, because at the time I was living with them during COVID. And so for me, they would have their dinner, and then I would usually add something into it. Because let's say we made dinner and it was like a salad and some chicken, right? And I was like, great, this is healthy, like when you look at it. But the reality is I have already worked out an hour and a half today, so I need to add some rice to the side. And then there'd be conversations like, okay, why are you doing that? And it's like, well, because I worked out like this, so I need to fuel that. And then typically what would happen with my family is we would eat dinner and then be relatively healthy, and then the snacking would start, right? But once I started eating more at my meals, I was like, oh, I don't need a snack, or I don't need dessert after dinner. And so that's just where I didn't necessarily say anything. I would just do.
Yeah, you're just living it.
And they just see it. And I think that one of the most impactful things you can do is just act on your goals.
Yeah, live
and
it
your
out.
family's going to see it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Is there anything of how it affected like your friendships or dating Alfred, now married to Alfred?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really don't talk about nutrition too much with my friends, because I never want to put something on someone without them wanting it. Like, my least favorite thing is when someone gives me unsolicited advice.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Because I have people
like,
in
why
my
are
life.
you eating that? You're eating too much. Oh, you're eating a brownie. Oh, you're eating 2 brownies. It's like, oh my gosh, let me live.
Yeah. It's so crazy because like I work in the fitness industry, right? Like this is my job. I still get unsolicited advice from people that don't have, I mean, your career doesn't have to be fitness to be able to talk about it, but it's like, how are you going to judge me for what I'm doing when I literally have like the science and the knowledge in my head of why I'm doing certain things? You know what I mean? So I don't want to be that person to other people. So if I see my family or friends acting a certain way, you know, I don't want to be the one that's like, you need to stop doing that because it's going to be blah, blah, blah. But if a friend comes to me and is like, hey, I really want to lose 5 pounds. Can you help me? Then I'm like, let's freaking go. I will give you all the time in the world to help you with that.
Exactly. Yes. I think that's huge. That's the difference. So that's probably what has changed most of me is I had family members that would comment a lot on my eating or comment on my body. And I just realized, and they've gotten so much better. We've had a lot of conversations about it. Like, hey, this isn't helpful. But that's something I realized. I kind of vowed to myself of like, I'm not going to be that coach. I'm not going to be the coach that ever shames someone for where they're at in their strength or where they're at in their fitness journey, like when it comes to nutrition, all of that, but want to be a place that's like a soundboard if they want to talk about it and be an influence, like a healthy influence. And so that's something I just have like, I will fight to be like the most non-judgmental zone because we don't really know why people are doing what they're doing unless they've shared it, right?
100%.
Like, and nobody wants to be told what to do. Like, I'm like, don't tell me what to do unless I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I've realized if I just live it out, often I've had so many conversations through it. And so right now I was just thinking about, I just went home to Indiana 2 or 3 weeks ago and I was like, how has this changed like fitness, nutrition wise? And they're like, what do you want to do for your birthday dinner? And I was like, I want to have chicken, burgers. I want watermelon. I want a salad. And I was like, whoa, that's like a pretty like healthy dinner. And then we had cookies at the end. But I was like, that's like what my whole family got to eat together was that, which is like, that's what I wanted for my meal. So naturally you're just influencing in that way. Or, you know, I've had conversations of like about nutrition with each of them because they're just like, what are you doing now? And so we're talking about like healthy ways around nutrition. Or I went on one of my sisters like has really bad scoliosis, so she can't walk much, but we went on like a really slow walk. That was her pace. And my mom was like, do you want to go to the gym with me? So we went to this like cute little like lifting class and she put me in the front because she's like, you're a trainer, go to the front. And she did with me and she had like 2-pound weights. But I was like, Mom, you did such a good job. Because, and you know, she's like, and she'll tell me like, I went to the gym today. And my mom, you know, her just doing body weight is pretty hard for her.
Yeah.
Or my stepdad is like, we'll talk about stuff while push-up competitions. So there's like these things I do with my family, but I meet them at their level. I'm not trying to be like, come do what I'm going to do or like, come run all these things unless that friend wants that. But just like, I feel like the conversations have evolved just by who I am and living it out. People are interested.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think you putting that out there makes them feel more comfortable to come talk to you about it on their own terms. Because they're like, okay, I see this works for her and she seems, you know, happy, or she seems more energized, or she's seen this amazing transformation. Then that makes them trust you more and want the help from you.
Yeah. Have you gotten to talk to like many friends, or what does that look like when people come to you?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like you're
like, all my friends are coaches.
I have a good amount of friends that are already like relatively fit and like happy with where they're at. But I have had a couple of friends that have reached out to me to ask me like, hey, can you help me with like, can you just give me macros? And I want to try to track for the next like 4 weeks just to see where I'm at. And so, I don't know where that comes from. If it's just like they see me posting on social media or they know that this is what I do for work, so they trust that. But really, like I said earlier, it's like, I just want them to come to me on their own terms. Like I've always been very open of like, oh, hey, if they do mention something like I'm unhappy with this or I'm unhappy with how I look, I'll say, hey, like if you ever want to talk about it, I'm always happy to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
That's where I end the conversation though. I don't say, hey, you should be doing this or you should start doing this. It's like, no, I just want them to know that like whenever they're ready, if they want to work with somebody, like I can help them. But that's about it. Like I never want to make someone feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I just want people to be like going after health goals, but I'm never even going to tell them like go after these health goals. My friends are across the spectrum. It's actually, I have quite a few handful of friends that hardly work out, that are my closest friends. And so they know what I'm doing on a weekly basis of working out or care about nutrition. But also it's been really fun just because of nutrition coaching. I used to like never eat desserts with my friends. I'd be like, no, I'm good. And now I'm eating desserts again because I'm like realizing, it's about like actually counting your macros and having a like 80-20 rule, I call it, of like 80% whole foods, healthy And then 20% you can have wiggle room to like take, have dessert or, go out and have fast food or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've been eating more out with my friends and like sharing desserts and stuff. And they're all like, what the heck, you're eating ice cream? What the heck, you're eating this? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm working with like a nutrition coach. And it's actually created this cool conversation of like having like a balanced lifestyle and they'll be like, well, you can just eat that because you work out so much. I'm like, no, like it's really more just like about balance more than anything else. I don't work out to eat. I just love working out, and I happen to like want to take care of my nutrition to help that as well. Yeah. And so it's like kind of reframing those mindsets around us, just through like living our life. And so
yeah, I think that's really like the moral of the story for today. Like for anyone that is really interested in either helping their family members and friends or being the positive influence, it's like the more that you can act on your values and then speak positively around your experience, the more that your family and friends are going to see the influence it's had on you and then lead them to ask questions. And I think for most people, it's going to take a long time. Like for some family members, it has taken years for them to want to start exercising or take care of themselves. But for others, it's like, oh, hey, you said one time you really enjoyed that. I want to come try it too. So it's like a whole process. But if there are people that you do want to influence, taking action and just showing them how positive you've, changed through it is the best thing you can do.
Yeah, and I think lastly, to say with that, for those family members or friends that you really, really care about and you have a close relationship with, I mean, I've been more on the honest side of like, especially with my parents specifically, I've been like, I care about you all so much. As you get older, please, will you strength train? And this is why. And I share the reasoning why. I don't think you can do that with like everybody. It's the amount of trust. But because we have so much trust built up, they're like, no, Lauren's like serious, like strength training. And my mom has been doing more strength training because of me explaining like the why of it. If like it's going to help your bones, it could prevent you from when you fall. Like, and just realizing like we do these things out of like a level of care as well. Cause I'm like, if you're taking care of your health, you'll live longer. Like, you'll be happier. Yeah. And then there's other friends I'm like, no, I'm going to let them like figure this out. If they want to come to me, then I'm, like you said, we're having open conversations. Cause it's like, we're not here to like fix everyone's lives. We're here just to say like, if we're leading a happy, healthy lifestyle to the best of our ability. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, if you guys out there have, I don't know, any positive stories about how you've impacted your family or friends, comment either on YouTube or Instagram when we post our clip. But until then, stay happy, stay healthy.
Bye.